My name is Wade Early, and I'm an alcoholic. And it is an honor and a privilege to be asked to be anywhere. It's a great time to be here at this meeting, and looks like a big meeting in San Diego to me, and that's where I'm from. And thank you, Bob, for inviting me. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I have my suspicions. Congratulations to all of you who stood up as newcomers in this fellowship or to these meetings. You probably heard it before, but I'll tell it to you again. Welcome to a new way of life. And if some of you have tried that way of life before and it sucked, too bad, try it again. Maybe if you actually do what we do, then it won't suck so bad, but that's the way that goes. Congratulations for 7 years. I've been to a few meetings that are offshoots of or our Pacific Group format type of deals, you know. And the first time I saw one of those, I was in Minneapolis at the World Conference with my sponsor who grew up there, and we went to a meeting, and they sang "Happy Birthday" so fast I didn't know what they were even talking about. They had a guy, his commitment was to jump up to the mic and go, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you." You had to run down the aisle to get up there, and the song ended, you blew the thing out, and the guy said, just what this guy said, "My name is so-and-so, my sobriety date is this, thank you," and he sat down, and some guy nudges me and goes, "That's good sponsorship, see that? See that?" I thought, whoa, because I'm from San Diego, and we're real relaxed down there, and my home group is the Lemon Grove Nooner, the Nooner meetings at the Lemon Grove Alano Club. And, you know, anything goes there. For $1, you get to see one of everything, man. And, you know, they give 90 days a year, and every year thereafter stuff. And it's those 90-day presenters that'll just kill you. They go on for 20 minutes presenting a 90-day chip, you know. And it's like, I just want to hear that person's story, for God's sake, not yours. But anyway. This is a special meeting tonight because Bob Darrell gave me permission to go to 11:30 so we can relax. It's okay. I met Bob Darrell on Maui. I was going to Maui on my big sobriety journey. I happened to be sober like 11 years, 9 months. And I was going to Maui. My folks had lived there for a number of years, 40-some years, and it was probably going to be the last time I saw them both together. And I had not been there in my sobriety, though we communicated and all that, but I was going to Maui to see the folks and my brother who lived there all that time too. And I went there, and I'm a real, you know, A personality, theater major, Leo by the book guy, and I'm going to be special on Maui, damn it. This is great. West Coast AA is arriving on Maui, man. I'm going to save Maui. This is going to be so cool. And I'll report back about the state of the union of AA in Maui when I get back to San Diego, and this is just one of the great moments in AA history, you know. And I get there, and I go to a meeting on a beach where I got married 30 years before. And already it's kind of like goosebumps and like, wow, Maui, where I got married. Like my life has gone full circle, and here I am, you know, and they have people there with mat commitments. They have little bamboo mats in a bag. So if you don't have your own lawn chair and your own stuff, you know, for the park, the grass or the beach, and you know, halfway through the meeting, the sun sets in the ocean. Like, what the heck? But I'm special on Maui. I'm going to be real special, and I'm going to get to introduce myself as an out-of-towner. And I'm going to be special, and all of a sudden, Bob Darrell and a frickin' entourage walks up. And I thought, why is he here? Doesn't he know this is my special week here? Why does he have to come here? He doesn't know who I am. I just know who he is because I go to a lot of meetings in San Diego. And several years back, the word was at the big roundup in San Diego, the speaker can't make it. There's been some problem. The main speaker he can't make it, but they got to fill in. And I'm a speaker coordinator big time in San Diego, and I know them all, and I got all the numbers, and I'm all about worshiping the ground they walk on, and they're special. And I'm going to fill in for the roundup. This ought to be good. Let's see who this is, you know. And I went to judge the fill-in speaker they drug up out of the alley somewhere or something. You know, they got to fill in. Well, I ought to, you know, wake up. Wait, this is my grandiose bullshit mind. You know, a couple of phone calls are made, and they get another, you know, world-class, absolutely astounding speaker to come fill it. What's the big problem? There isn't one. He gave one of the greatest talks I ever heard. And I've heard all the great ones. I've heard them all. And it was one of the top 3 or 4 talks ever, and I thought, yeah, not bad for a fill-in. That's cool, man. He lied to me earlier. He said he doesn't like a lot of attention. And I said, bullshit. No, When I grow up, I'm going to be just like him, damn it. I got sober in 1994. It's just a bad hair day, a regular bad hair day for a good kid. I was 47, and I just had a bad day because I'd been living in the streets of San Diego with a shopping cart in Balboa Park for a year. And it was not bad. Oh, Wade, the street caused Wade to hit his bottom. Homelessness caused me to hit my bottom. No, I just happened to hit my bottom while I was in the street. The street was good. You know, the street was, it was like the first place in a long time I'd been to where I knew how to manage things here. I could manage life in the street. No, I was a dumpster diver and a hunter, forager, finder. That old Marine Corps thing kicked in, and I could hunt and find and forage. And we used to joke with other guys who were in the military out there, a lot of, Vietnam-era veterans, and somebody would be whining. I'm going, what are you whining about? It's not like there's organized groups of people running around trying to shoot you and shit, And no one's asking me to go out and burn someone's house down and shoot them either. But everything else is kind of like the same. You just wander around hoping to find some food and stuff and whatever, and this is cool. You find stuff in the dumpsters. I used to toast from my picnic table in the park. Gentlemen and lady, there was one lady with us out there. I said, gentlemen and lady, Bill Clinton's in the White House. The dumpsters are full. San Diego rocks. This is America. Oh, man. And I was a happy hobo. I was happy out there. I've had different relatives and people that have known me a long time go, how was that out there? Man, that must have been tough. I went, no, it was pretty cool, actually, because that's where I was. That's where I'd gotten. And I came from a really neat couple of parents and a great family and a great time to be in America. I was born in 1946, so like when the 50s started to come, everybody kind of decided in the 50s, I think the parents had all decided that it's going to go on just like it always was. The war's over, we got married, we had kids, and now we'll get back to just living like really great people in America. Everything's going to be just the same forever now. And the 50s came, and the 60s started to come, and things weren't going to be the same, man. And I grew up like Richie Cunningham in Happy Days TV show land. Like, I was just swell, sock hops, groovy, the chicks will be there, wow. Like, my parents checked my homework, I practiced my trumpet, now I go out and play or do whatever I'm going to do. You just get to be a young kid, an adolescent, a teenager. Oh, a teenager. We get to be teenagers and go to more dances and more sock hops and touch women and stuff. And, oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. My parents drank normally, and people came over on the holidays, and I saw good examples of drinking and social interaction behind alcohol. And I thought, as little as I am and as young as I look, I think drinking it makes me look older. Drinking, I can't wait. I can't wait, I said. I didn't even know what it felt like. And I don't think this is alcoholic. It just was totally insecure male crap. But I remember thinking, I can't wait till I'm old enough to be sitting around a coffee table like all the neighbors in the block there. They're sitting around the coffee table with cocktails in their hand, and they're laughing and itching and scratching and jaw-jacking and just, having a good old time. And they just look like they're having fun. They're not like at work. They're not dealing with their kids. And I'd watch adults drink, and they just were having a good-ass time, man. And I said, I want to have a good-ass time, too. That's good. And someday I'll sit at this coffee table with a cocktail in my hand, and I'll be drinking and laughing with my friends, and we'll be all grown up, and things will be perfect. And I did sit at that coffee table eventually. My parents moved to Maui, and I was in junior college at the time. And after Vietnam, I came back, and I got to live in that house I grew up in literally for free. And I drank at that coffee table, and we had a good time with my friends, and we were all grown up, and everything was perfect. The alcohol was good. All the drugs we could find were good. Everything was good. And it was good for a long time. I did not have a miserable drinking career. Do they say that in Las Vegas? Do people say, my drinking career? A career is a kind of a thing where you do something and you do it a long time and you be promoted in it and grow in knowledge of it and expertise in it. And it gets to a point where, you're honored when you're about to leave it and all that. It's a career. And they give you a watch and a plaque, and they take you to dinner or something, or give you the cruise, and the stock package and the whole thing. It's a career, a drinking career. I know that's an AA joke. Drinking career? My drinking career, it was just a downhill thing. I never did get out of the house and make my own way. I thought joining the Marine Corps was going to do it. And I just picked the wrong year. It was 1966, I going to join the Marine Corps. I had to quit junior college because they said I was going to lose my student deferment. Now, if you're real young, you're going, what's a student deferment? It's a situation like where you're in college being legitimate about what you're doing, and you hold a C average, you're exempt from the draft. And that's not like a cold wind. The draft, and most people here are old enough to remember it or know what it's about. You're hearing it in the news a little bit now. They might reinstate it. Yeah, you better be thinking about it, pal. You. It's where the government actually can write you a letter and force you to go into the military against your will, against your will. They go, greetings from the president or whatever, or greetings from, and you have to go in. Well, this counselor told me in my second little year in junior college, and I'm a theater major, I'm in all the plays, and I'm popular, and I'm scoring with women, and life is good, that I was drinking on a daily basis did not become a question or a thought for 30 more years. And in recovery, I heard that. And I thought, that sick person, they were 13, drinking on a daily basis. Like drinking on a daily basis, yuck. And I had to remember all of a sudden that, as soon as I left the house, or as soon as I was living at home going to junior college, as soon as I got to junior college, I would drink in the morning before the 8 o'clock class, because somebody lived across the street from the college, the junior college, and we'd have, a peanut butter sandwich and a glass of vodka, and you'd go to class all mellow, like, that gets the cobwebs out of the way. That's peanut butter and vodka, that's good, And lunchtime, there'd be a guy who was 22 who would take about 8 or 10 of us down to Corky's Chris and Pitt's barbecue restaurant there in Van Nuys, and he'd say those magic words. Ellen, 4 pitchers and what do we got? 8 glasses. Thank you. And he's 22, so there's no questions asked back in 65. If a policeman had even stood up and gone over and said, excuse me, everyone at this table is underage. This waitress would have chased the cop out of the restaurant. She says, this is my table, Bert. Hit the road. I'm handling this. The guy that's buying's 22. It wasn't like a big issue. And we weren't being all weird anyway, so it worked. So I'm drinking at noon when we go have lunch. And then in the afternoon, if I don't have a dance rehearsal or, the regular rehearsal for the play I'm in doesn't start, well, we're going to get a little smashed before whatever we're going to do. And then when the rehearsal is over, then we go to this place about 2 in the morning or midnight, some coffee shop on Van Nuys Boulevard, and we would go into where the piano bar is playing and sit there and order some fries, and then someone would order drinks for us at that table. It wasn't like I was in love with the substance. It all tasted like crap to me. It still doesn't taste. I don't remember alcohol tasting good ever. It tastes bad. That's why it makes you feel good. That's the formula there. Hawaiian Punch never made me feel any better. It just tasted great with everything, and orange soda pops and stuff. Cool. I didn't drink for the effect that I could think of in those early days. The effect I was getting, that alcohol was giving me was, I thought I looked older. Since I got a drink in my hand, and you must know I'm really not 14. Because, man, when I was young, I know it's hard to believe. When I was young, I looked way younger than I was. I used good drugs, and I drank a lot to get to looking like this now, but I was like a little Peter Pan, little actor guy back in the day, and I was like 19 years old. I looked about 14, but if I had a drink in my hand, I thought I looked older, and I was trying to smoke, getting dizzy, smoking cigarettes, trying to look like I'm drinking, I'm smoking, you must know I'm older. And it was stupid. I looked like I was 14. It didn't really fool anybody. But I was getting fooled because I was doing this all the time. I used to think, God, I was kind of drunk 3 times today. I was kind of drunk 3 times in the same day. So when I heard 30 years later, drinking on a daily basis, at first I judged people. But then, I had a right to judge when I came into these rooms because I pushed my shopping cart to my first 70 or 80 meetings. And I was just judging the heck out of everybody. And it took me, several weeks until I realized I'm the only asshole here with a shopping cart. In fact, I was looking out the door of a meeting that was long and skinny, like just this skinny, and a door over there, and I parked my shopping cart out by a guy's truck, and I wrapped it like a horse. I wrapped a little cord around the parking meter, like tied up my little horse and stuff, my little buggy, and I would sit in the meeting to where I could look sideways and see my shopping cart out the door. And the guy who had the truck, his name was Ronnie. It was Ronnie's Mobile Mechanic or something, was his little on the side of the truck, and he had a phone number. I don't think he had a contractor's license number, but he had numbers. I remember he had numbers, his name and numbers on the truck. I mean, he's a big guy. He's doing something, And he got up there at that meeting and said, and don't think this and don't think that, because, man, I've had the tools stolen right off my truck 3 times at this very meeting. And I'm like rubbernecking, looking at my cart, going like, whoa. And this woman who had about 4 months under her belt, she looked like Anne Margaret or somebody. I mean, she had this kind of soft red hair and freckles, and it just was dressed up nice and looking pretty good. And she happened to be sitting next to me, all smelling nice. And I'm still homeless going to these meetings, though. And And she's looking at me. God, I'm looking out at my shopping cart like, damn. And she looks at me and she says, "What's the matter, Wade?" And I said, "Well, you heard what he said. He had his tool stolen out of his truck 3 times. My shopping cart is right out there." And she looked at me with that look. If you're new, you get this look a lot and you don't get it. She looked at me with this blank-eyed, quizzical look and went, "Wade, I don't think anybody wants your cart." And I thought, where the hell is she coming from? What does she mean by that? What is that? What do you mean nobody wants my shop? You don't understand. I have Grey Poupon on that shopping cart. I do. No. At every meeting I speak at in San Diego, there's people that have had donuts off my shopping cart, either in the first meetings I went to or in the street. But people go, that guy had a shopping cart? They go, "Goddamn right, he had the best donuts in San Diego too, and he had pizza and chimichangas and sushi. I had everything." Food is power. When you're not a bad guy and you're not an ass kicker and you don't have the little gun anymore because you had to trade that for dope. You finally have nothing but your shopping cart and an ugly stick. And I'm crazy. Don't mess with me. But if you have food and good food, better food. I'm the food meister of North Park. I had the best food. And people literally did that thing where you'd see some homeless people in their shopping carts. We all had shopping carts in 93. They hadn't done the little crackdown on shopping carts yet. We heard that in Los Angeles in 1993, they were giving out $85 tickets for shopping cart possession. And people were going, "Oh, it'll move this way. The end is near. They'll take shopping carts from us." I said, "No, they'll write you an $85 ticket that you'll never pay for. Screw them. What are you talking about?" The markets won't stand for that down here. They don't want the bad publicity. They don't want to be looked at as the corporate outfit that disallowed homeless people to have shopping carts. I had this all figured out because maybe, do we have any tweaker attorneys in here? I don't mean that you're a practicing attorney and you use methamphetamines. I mean, did you use a lot of methamphetamines to where you got to where you thought you knew all about the laws and how the case, you knew how it was all going to break down, No, Nancy Grace had nothing on me, man. I tell you what, I'd watch TV in the bar going like, "Look at this. This is ridiculous." They walk. They don't even get an indictment. Listen, all you have to do is tell the guy this and tell the guy that, and all you got to do is, what's going to happen is this. Somebody said to me once, "Are you an attorney?" I said, "No, I run the dart tournaments here. Who the hell are you?" I'm just telling you how this is going to go down. You ought to be listening to me, man. I know something, I wasn't born like this. And and if you're laughing, then maybe you can relate. You had people look at you once in a while going, "You been like this long, fella? You always been such a stupid woman or whatever? Or you always take off your clothes when you get drunk? Are you an idiot or what?" "No, I wasn't always like this, just tonight, Guy, when he doesn't drink, he's such a nice guy." Well, aren't we all? If you're one of those people that was an asshole before you drank, then you got other issues and there's other fellowships for that. No, I was a nice kid. I shouldn't be here. I was the kid that stood at my high school graduation in 1964 at Reseda High School in the San Fernando Valley. And it just happened that the luck of the draw was that of 512 graduates, the 2 guys on either side of me, we'd been in kindergarten together. We'd known each other through kindergarten, all the way through the 6th grade, then to Sequoia Junior High, then to Reseda High School. And I looked and I went, well, there's Brian York and there's Hank Pearson. And while the guy's giving the droll speech, the principal, and we're talking to each other, going like, "Yeah, remember Miss Woods and the principal, Miss Manning?" And we went there. We're just holding a conversation in the audience. It's graduation night, we're all in the caps and the gowns and the crap. And we're just talking about grammar school and stuff. And he gets all done with his speech and whatever. And then this girl gives the speech. The girl gives the speech. The valedictorian gives the speech. Same speech. Same girl gives it every year. You know the speech. She gets to that part and she says, "And we are the class of 64. We are the class that accepts the Great Commission to save the whales, to free the world for democracy, and lead the entire planet into a new age of enlightenment by the year 2000. And I'm nudging the guy next to me, and I said, "Wow, wouldn't you like to see her naked?" Doesn't make me an alcoholic, just makes me a little teenager, That's how heady I was thinking. I could hold a 5-minute conversation about important things with you if it was going to impress you and get me in your pants or something. I could play the role. I'm a theater major. I could play whatever role. I was the chameleon before I heard what the chameleon was in these rooms. I could do whatever I needed to do to impress you a little bit for 5 or 10 minutes, but really talk about heady stuff, really be concerned about the future of the world and society. Spare me the boring crap, will you please? I watched my parents do that stuff. They built the Little Leagues. They ran the PTAs. They checked my homework. They backed every play I ever was in or ever tried to do, or, not only the theatrical plays, but every move I made. They were there to support me and back me up. And I thought they lived a droll life. I didn't want to grow up like my parents, and life was happening. And I only got drunk once or twice in high school, but the summer after high school, that's when I started drinking. And when junior college happened, it was on, and I still wasn't in love with alcohol particularly, and the Beatles had just come along with the Stones, and so we all weren't taking other drugs yet. We were just kind of looking forward to it, though. But I wasn't in love with the feel-good yet. I was not in love with that feel-good. And then I joined the Marine Corps in '66, and we go over there, and they got to make me a man. That was my thought. I got to get out of town and be made a man, because I don't want to pay rent. I don't want to work. I don't know what to do. I don't want to grow up. I got 4 little hairs on my chest, and I'm not liking this, man. This growing up sucks. I'd rather do high school for 1,000 years, man, and I'll get it right. I'll be elected everything, and I'll get them all, man. And I went in the Marine Corps, and they're going to make me a man and give me a bunch of stuff to act and write about and be all salty and really have some gusto and some manhood and some, boy, what a mistake. No, man, if you ain't been hunted and hunt people for like 13 months without stopping, it's an experience that can be passed up. You can pass on that one, let me tell you. The news still doesn't cover it. The movies are getting close. But I'm waiting for that movie where you go into the theater, and when you go in, you don't know when you can get out. Literally. No, imagine for a moment, you're going to watch a war movie that Spielberg made or something, a war movie, but when you go in, you don't know when you're coming out. It's for the duration. You're just going to be there. And it has a little disclaimer, on the little box office there that says, all action on the screen will be coming out into the audience and could happen to you at any time. So when the bullets and the bombs fly and the unfairness and the injustice and the shit and whatever start to happen, it could happen to you right while you're sitting there, and you don't know when you can leave. It ain't going to be like, oh, bad movie, but I knew it's going to be, about 10 minutes it'll be over. We'll go back to our life. Bull, man. That was not a good experience. That did not make me an alcoholic. But I will say this. I started to really enjoy the drinking and the using with a little more fervor, because then I really had some things to cover up. It wasn't just basic male insecurity, adolescent crap anymore. But I didn't think that that's what I was doing. If I'd have thought, I'm lying to this doctor to get Librium. Someone mentioned Librium. Oh, my God. The guy told me, hey, I'll give you a whole bunch of pot. If you go to the doctor, tell him you're a new squad leader, he'll give you Librium or Valium. If you give me those pills, I'll move that and give you all the pot you want, because all you like to do is smoke pot, huh? Yeah, okay. I laid a line of crap on this doctor that I'm a new squad leader and I'm really nervous, and the responsibility of many lives are upon me, and I'm doing this little act for him, like I'm acting, and I'm rubbing my face and going, trying to look but I don't know. What do you think, man? And this doctor, all glazed-eyed, looked at me and said, do you want Librium or Valium? I thought, this is like robbing the bank easy. What? I said, well, what are they? Is that like stuff that would be helpful to what I'm telling you about? And he put 2 bottles up there, and he said, this is Librium. This is 24, and this is 48. And I said, well, why don't I take the 48? It'll save me a trip back, won't it? And I was a bit incensed and uppity at him. He looked like all gray-faced, like he's trying to pay off his medical loan or whatever, and he had to go to the military to pay off his college crap or whatever, and he realized he got into a bad, sticky wicket, man. He was in a bad place, and this wasn't practicing medicine, and there was no hope, and the orders were probably, hey, when they come in whining to you, we give them something and get them out the door. We need them out there just shooting and burning and pillaging, just give them what they want. Don't try to be a doctor here, asshole. Just give them the drugs. Because this guy just gave me drugs like, it's like today, ask your doctor if this is right for you. I just walked in and said, I'm feeling real nervous and real scared, and he gave me some drugs, and I went, great. And the guy says, give me a bunch of shoebox full of pot for it, and I gave him the pills. He goes, you ever had one of these? I said, no, I don't do pills. I mean, that's like, drug addicts and stuff, pills. That's for dysfunctional housewives and stuff, not me, Why don't you try one? But make sure you're not doing anything. Make sure you don't got to be doing anything. So we were in battalion area at the time. I wasn't going to be doing anything, and I took one. Now, I don't know if normal people just take one every time someone says, just take one, try it, but don't be doing anything. A normal person, if you tell them, take this, but don't do anything, they go, what the fuck, why should I take it then? If I can't do anything, or what, I should be afraid. I took the pill. Now, we're walking around, we're in a Marine Corps line company, 1st Marine Division Infantry. We always got weapons, we always got weapons, and we're always dirty. We always are ready to do something. But we weren't doing anything that afternoon, so I thought, it's not like a union job where you go, hey, Louie, I'm on a break here. You said this morning we were off this afternoon, didn't you? No. Some bang-bangs going off, and they go, oh, get your squad together and run out there and do this and go check it out and save their ass and whatever. And I took this pill about 20 minutes ago, And we walked out of the gate, and we didn't get very far, and the action was already over, and we were just standing there. And I guess I was standing there too long, and my buddy says to me, hey, we going to move on or what, man? And I looked at him, and then I looked around, and I didn't have my rifle. It was laying in the sand down there, and I went, what? Wow, it took me about 10 seconds to think I got to bend over and get it now. And I was faded big time. And he says to me, you didn't take one of them pills, did you? And I'm thinking in slow motion, and I'm looking at him in slow motion, thinking, I said, yeah, I did. He goes, oh, no. We're only a half a mile or a mile from battalion area, but we're on the edge of some village, and there's bad people hiding around, and you never know what's going to happen. And I'm the squad leader, and he's going, no. I said, hey. And I took the bottle out of my jacket, I remember, and I said, it says right here, take one every 4 hours for nerves. I said, man, you got to have some pretty messed up nerves to be taking this crap, man. I thought I was pretty nervous, really, but this is for really nervous people, man. And I never took them again, But I get out of Vietnam, and when I get back from the Marine Corps and all that, I am straight up into can't wait to get out, to get back to the civilian world. And now I know how to do drinking. Yeah, I know how to do that. Is there a 10-lesson course in how to drink? You just open it, and you drink it, and you laugh and you fart and you have a good time and all that. It's all great. And then now there's other drugs and other substances and all that, and it's 1969, 1970, and it's on. And all I'm thinking about is, for the rest of my life, I'm going to just get high and live life, and life is going to be good. And I'm not thinking about jobs. I'm not thinking about responsible thinking in any way, shape, or form. I never did get to that point. It wasn't like the drinking made me not think responsibly. I wasn't thinking responsibly anyway. I don't think I ever thought responsibly for more than 10 minutes until I got sober. It was a process of just thinking about medicating or whatever you call it to yourself. Just make me feel better. I just want to feel good, and there's ways to automatically do this, and that's what I do. And I don't want to hear none of your grown-up bull crap. I don't want to hear about this or that. Don't get all deep with me, and I have needs. Do you, honey? We'll take them down the road. Go. I don't want to hear about your needs and a selfish, self-centered, frightened little kid. But now I'm in my middle 20s. Now I'm 30. Now I'm 35. And I got one little 2-year marriage, didn't work. And then I got another marriage. But this one, my mom was going to like this one, by God. And I gave her grandchildren. I ran the course. I did what I was supposed to do. And there was 1, 2, and 3 children. And all I'm doing is staying out of the house as much as I can. PTA meetings, gag me with a spoon, Sesame Street, stop all that stuff. I never wanted to be that, and I never should have been that. And I've been able to, in my sobriety, tell my children that that's where your dad's at. I should have never made babies. I should have never really got married. I'm glad you're all here. I told them. I said, no, I'm glad you're here. You're wonderful. But I wasn't up to it, and that's not by way of excuse. It's just by way of description. I was not up to being a parent. Probably wouldn't be today. I wouldn't be adopting Vietnamese orphans or something today. I'm probably too busy to be giving to a child. And that's me. Maybe that's just still part of this self-centeredness that runs rampant in me. But I drank and did all other forms of alcohol until I was like 47 years old. And what had happened was, generally, I kept holding jobs less and less. Didn't get fired because I was drunk. Oh, you people ought to be going to AA if you get fired because you're drunk. No, I just quit because I was having too good a time away from work. I would just let jobs go. I would start to get laid off from jobs because I wasn't the highest producer. But they just would go, we're having to cut back a little weight, and you and Leon got to go, or whatever, And it just never seemed, no one ever just busted me and said, hey, you're obviously strung out and you're full of crap, man, and you're a detriment to my business. Get the hell out of here. They don't, and that's where that comes from. Nobody knew I was all messed up. They knew. They just don't wake up in the morning going, oh, boy, I'm going to get to confront Louise today about her alcoholism and her goddamn cocaine addiction. Come into work going, listen, little girl, I know you got it in your drawer. I know you've been shooting up in the bathroom and you got a fifth of vodka in your desk. You're fired because you're all messed up. They don't look forward to doing that. They dodge that when they sidestep it. They got laws and human resource people and stuff going, don't say that. Don't confront them. No, they might shoot us, you know. The whole world kind of dodges and weaves around us, man. Or they did me. And I kept getting by on my good looks as long as I could. And man, when I was, finally you get kicked out of the bars because you're just getting too loose and talking too much baloney and being such a pain. And then you are to that point. And I didn't know this. Again, I'm a good kid. If I'd have known this is what I was becoming, cunning, baffling, and powerful, the baffling part still baffles me. How couldn't I have seen what was happening? Maybe in 5-second glimpses I saw it going, I'm screwing up again. Let's toot something. Let's drink something. Let's go chase some skirt somewhere. Let's do something to forget I'm blowing it again. I'm blowing it again. And I've been married for 11 years and got 3 kids, and I'm always blowing it, man. I'm just always blowing it. And I'm in a born-again, spirit-filled church laying hands on the sick, and they recover. These people would recover, for Christ's sake. For Christ's sake, they would. And no pun intended, no. But I was living this double, triple life, just boy horror about town in Palm Springs as a waiter. Coincidentally, you get waiter jobs because there's like free food, free liquor. The women don't charge you very much for anything. It's way cool. Restaurant work is good. But if you're a newcomer, stay away from restaurants unless you're really working those steps, by God. I ran my race until I could run it no more. They kicked me out of all the bars and my home bar. I had a home bar long before I had a home group. And when people said, you got to get a home group, honey, keep coming back and bring your shopping cart and you'll get a sponsor. And that's a guy like that guy over there. Okay? And you get a home group. You know what I mean by like a home group? And I said, well, yeah, I got a home bar. It's like if you don't show up, they wonder where the hell you are. And they send out people looking for you practically. And they know you're there every day, like clockwork. You're there. You have a shift to be there. And the shift usually is from 6 a.m. to like 4 in the morning. That's what the shift is. It's a home. Yeah, I got home group. I understand the concept. One of the neat things was when I had that bad hair day, and it was one of those days where like an hour before, everything was fine. I was just going to be living in the street the rest of my life. And people say to me today, I drive for a limousine service in San Diego, and this will come up, and they'll go like, you were homeless? No way, you? And I go, yeah, me. How did that happen to a guy like you? And I say, the same way what's happening to you, sir, happened to you. Here you are in San Diego on a giant sales business thing at Lowe's Coronado Bay Resort, for God's sake. And you're here talking about tens of millions of dollars with people. I heard you. And you're talking about who's going to make it this year and who's not going to make it and this, that, and the other. And did you get there right out of high school? Did you become who you are today right out of high school? He goes, no, I'm 35 years old. I said, right, one day at a time, doing the next indicated thing, you got to where you are today. I said, well, that's my only excuse too. One day at a time, doing what I thought was the next indicated thing, I got homeless. At any given time, now in my sobriety, I can look back and go, boy, there's where you crossed the line, Wade, when you took that pistol for a little deal. Well, take that much back and give me the pistol. You got any bullets? I like this. I like this. Life's getting better. And I had a little pistol. Oh, smart guy. There was several times after I get sober, the baffling part fades away a little, and I look back at my life going, there was many times where I was crossing a visible line. Crossing invisible lines? Well, when you're intoxicated, they're all pretty invisible. I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 women in the room that actually woke up with someone they didn't know. And not just that you forgot the guy's name, you really went, where did he come from? Some of us did it more than others, my dear, that's true. And guys always like to tell that coyote thing and tell this, like they woke up next to some ugly woman and wondered where she came from. And I said to a sponsee once, I said, hey, my friend, I'm looking right at you, and I'm going to tell you something. There's been a couple of women that woke up in their day and wondered where the hell, what coyote they had gone to bed with, and they were looking at you. Don't be doing that macho thing about, oh, my drinking led me to go to bed with bad-looking women. No. Your drinking probably led you to go to bed with bad-looking guys, too. I don't know. No, we like to tell it a certain way. I like to tell my story a certain way too. But I went to dark places and did stupid and dark and idiotic things. Not just when I drank. That's the problem with me. Those of you that just, every time I drank, I went to jail. Well, then stop drinking. Stop going to jail. Every time I drank, I just put my dress up over my head and let everybody do me on the pool table. Don't drink. Don't pull your dress up. It's cool. I was one of those people that I made some of the stupidest decisions of my life, some of the most fear-filled, self-centered, idiotic, greedy, chicken shit plans without any drugs or alcohol in me. I just was a bad-thinking, bad-planning little jerk. The drinking would be helpful after you have made the decision to carry it out with some kind of suave. And people would look at you like you had a stupid idea, and you'd go, it's not as stupid as it sounds, actually. Listen to me one more time, my friend. Here. Have a line of this, and let me tell you about it one more time. No, the drinking and alcohol and the drugs and all that made what I was already going to do just go a lot smoother. So I thought. You know, you could look in the mirror. If I looked in the mirror sober as the years went on, I'm looking at the guy going, Jesus, you know, I don't look as good as I used to. And actually, I'm looking into those eyes going, I wouldn't trust this guy. And I know what the hell I'm looking at here. This is like the picture of Dorian Gray thing. And you know, a lot of if you're too young and you don't study the old time literature, this Dorian Gray story. This guy, you know, he had a picture of himself a painting like when he was a young man. And he put it up in the cellar or whatever, hid it away, symbolically hid this picture of this young, bright guy away. And he became a depraved freak and a drug addict. And he became a real weasel and an asshole, you know. But he always looked good, man. He always looked good. It was like mystical. Like, dude, you still look so good. And the deal would be, he'd go up and look at this painting every now and then, or at the end of the painting got ugly. The painting got ugly, but he didn't. That's what alcohol does for me, man. It just kept me thinking I was good looking and sharp and still sounding intelligent. And no matter what I had screwed up, marriages, lives, whatever, I just thought I still looked good. And I literally was the guy with the shopping cart standing in a gas station bathroom, licking my eyebrows and doing all that and covering up the scabs on my face with makeup I'd stolen from Save On, you know. Getting it all together. I go, yeah. I got it. I still got it. Look at me. I still got it. Do the old profile shot and all that. My shopping cart right there, you know. Now that's, you know, a semi-normal person goes, are you out of your mind? You're a stinking hobo. You're a loser. You're a bum. I'm not a bum. I've never begged anything. I'm a hobo. There's a difference. You're a loser. No, I don't have your heart disease and your broker and your insurance person. And I was telling someone today, they lived at they knew of the same park I lived in, Morley Field in Balboa Park. And there was a house right across the street from the park with a big, you know, picture window, the whole living room and the kitchen there. You could see the whole guy's whole house. Like, what an ego this guy had, you know? What kind of trip is he on? And I'm standing across with my shopping cart after dark, and I would watch this guy, and he'd have parties in his house. And you could see you could almost read their lips through the glass. It was like across the street and up on a rise there. And the women would be having trays of hors d'oeuvres and going, oh, yes, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And everybody walking around the living room, and you could almost imagine you were in there. And I'd go like, to hell with those people. I wouldn't want their worries. I wouldn't want their life and all that phony crap they're doing in there and all their little phony cars parked out front and all the bills they have to pay. I have no responsibilities whatsoever. I answer to no one. I'm going back in my bedroll right now, and screw you. I will drink and use at you tonight. Oh, yeah. But I hadn't thought I was drinking and using at anybody because, again, the baffling part for me is if I'd have known, I keep telling myself, if I'd have known at any given time I was acting insanely, stupidly, erratically, goofy, if I'd have known this was goofy crap, I'm not stupid. I'd have said, wait a minute, Wade, you're acting stupidly. You need to seek some help. You need to call mom and dad, or you need to, like, calm down here, or you need to ask some questions of somebody, you know. But no, I didn't see that I was having these problems. They just keep happening to me. And it is other people's fault. I know, we tell you in here, you always thought it was other people's fault. Well, I'm figuring about 51% of the time it was. except my part in it, and my sponsor had to tell me when I was new. He said, what was your part in this? I go, I didn't have no part in this. This guy did me wrong. This guy's an asshole. No, what was your part in this? I'm telling you, I didn't have a part in it. I was an innocent bystander. These people are a whole group, a whole bar full of assholes. No, the whole bar is assholes. The whole corporation was assholes. Everybody, they're all women are assholes, you know. No. You don't see, no. I don't have a part in all of this. I have a part in some of it, but most of the time, everybody else has a part in this, and that's the part. See, they must be eliminated. They must be dealt with. What's your part in it? He kept going on and on with this crap, you know. Finally, I got pissed, and I said, okay, man, if I have a part in any of this crap, the only part I have in it was I was there. And he went, aha, now we found your part in it. What do you mean by that? What the hell were you even doing there? Why had you been in that bar for 8 years with these same people for 8 years if they're such assholes? Why had you been working for this company this long, stealing from them, and doing a piss-poor job for 2 years? Why would you continue to do things that you didn't like doing, that were full of asshole people, that were obviously wrong and deranged and stupid, but you stay there. You'd stay there and stay there. You have a part in this. You wouldn't do those things today. Well, I had 4 or 5 months sober, and I already was starting to go, yeah, I ain't doing that anymore. I ain't going to do that anymore. I ain't going to do that. He says, now, today you're already making some choices that you aren't going to do this, this, and this. You got boundaries all of a sudden. Geez, you take a 90-day token, you got boundaries. You got things you will and will not do with 90 days. Now you're going to judge the rest of the world. And I was like that. But when I came into these rooms, I was beat down. That final day, my whole life flashed before me. And I was homeless in the park, and had been so for a year. And I had one of those moments over a $10 little dope deal, crappy little thing where the guy going to kill me if I don't get him a refill or give him his money back. What kind of guy is that? What part did I have in that? Is it my fault or his fault? Huh? What? I went begging for the $10 back or a refill. Now, if you're not into that, and this is Alcoholics Anonymous, fine, but I'm just telling you, put your details to this moment, whatever they are. It might have been, you were doing something that just was not going to be mentionable. It might have just been a quiet little moment. I don't know. But most of us in this room have probably had this moment once, twice, or 18 times in your life. But you've had this moment. If you haven't, I hope you have it soon. That moment where I just said, I begged for this money, and I did this little weaselly, I need to have this. The woman gave me the $10 back and said, here's the $10. You already got that. Now here's the $10 as well. Can we be through? Are we in fact finished? And I knew she meant finished for good, because they didn't want them homeless me coming around their door anymore. They just were, I'm a liability. I could rat them off, or I was just not in the group anymore. She wanted to get rid of me. I knew she wanted to get rid of me and was willing to pay me $10 to get rid of me. I found that to be a real come down. It wasn't like someone was paying $10,000 to put a hit on you, or giving you a car and a bunch of money to get out of town. They gave you $10 back and said, are we through? Talk about nickel dime. I was so embarrassed. I sobbed in the broad of daylight all the way back to the park, crying with cars going by, just over what? A $10 embarrassment? I had never been true to any of my 2 wives or any women I had said I should be true to. I had never been honest with any employer. I had done every manner of thing I can think of, and some things that I will and will not tell in open meeting or whatever. Did those things that guys are never going to do and they're never going to talk about. I didn't like them, though. If I liked them, I'd tell you so tonight. I didn't like doing some stuff, man. But there I was doing it, just in shame and just abhorred with my own, just all kind of bums, spaces and things happened. And I never knew how it happened to me. But I had that day where all of it flashed in my face at once. And I went, what happened to Richie Cunningham in Happy Days? What happened to me? I should be running something. I should be well-liked. I should be popular. I should be sought after for good advice and counsel. I should be a friend amongst friends, a worker amongst workers. God forbid work, but I should be a worker amongst workers, a friend amongst friends, and I'm not. Nobody gives a crap where I am right now today. Nobody cares. And the truth is, the park workers wouldn't want me in the park if they could have their way and just run me off. And I was a loser and a jerk and a failure. And it all hit me at once, and I didn't have anything of my own to use right then, or you'd have a different speaker tonight, because I'd weathered that storm before a couple of times. It just didn't last longer than 20 seconds, because I had something. I'd take something, I'd drink something. This afternoon I had nothing, and it lasted for an hour or 2 or 3, and I was desolate. But I had a friend to call, and he had 10 months sober, and he still has 10 months on me. And I called Jack, and I said, Jack, I can't feel this way anymore. Like as though I'd been feeling bad for a long time. I hadn't been. I didn't feel bad that year homeless in the park. Like I told you, the God's truth was I finally found something I guess I can do. I guess water found its own level. This is what I should have done this right after high school and saved myself a bunch of crap. You know, I'd have been on Donahue writing a book about how to be homeless and be happy in America or something, you know. But I wasn't happy that day. That's why I'm such a nickel dime bottom guy, because I only had a bottom that lasted a whole 24 hours. The rest of the time I covered it up somehow. I went on. I just went on. I went on. But that day I couldn't go on, and I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And I knew that it had something to do, probably has something to do with drinking and doing drugs. And I guess if I call Jack, that'll be the prescription. He'll say, well, you stop that and you go to these meetings. I only thought about that for about 15 seconds and went, you know what, that ain't bad, because I got to do something. I'll do anything. I loved it when they said go to any length. I was ready. Oh, no, cut my wrists, make me stand on my head in the corner and register as a Republican. I'll do it. I don't care. I just didn't want to feel this way anymore real bad. And I came to the Cult of the 12 Steps, and they showed me a way to live that didn't look too darn hard. Oh, there was some rocky points in those steps over there. They're obviously in the wrong order, too. I could see that right away. But I was told by wiser than I, no, they're in the right order, Wade. The order's been established for quite some time, and it works just that way. And you should do them in order with the supervision of a sponsor, the guidance of a sponsor who's worked them and all. And I knew about groups and group dynamics and how groups worked. And I saw the ass-kissers in the front row, and I saw the losers in the back and all that. I saw the whole room. I judged it. I knew. But I had joined groups. If you're not a group joiner, this could be a new and dismal experience for you. Joining groups can suck. I know that. But I always liked joining groups. Whatever group had something I wanted, I'd join. Doesn't matter to me. And I saw the Cult of the 12 Steps and went, this one isn't that hard. And it's the last one on the block. I like that. The last house on the block. I don't know if there's a house after this one. I think I better join these people, and maybe I can just do what they say. There's some raggedy-ass, crazy, beat-down, goofy people in here sometimes, and they seem to be, the guy has a job. I don't. By God, I saw him get into a car. I don't have one. Well, I don't want a car, and I don't want a job. What do you want, they'd say. I'd say, I guess I want a studio apartment in North Park and a black and white TV and nobody messing with me. That's all. I didn't want to, get a new degree. I didn't want to start a new business. I didn't want to find a wife. I didn't want all that stuff some of you had, because speakers can scare the hell out of you with their happy ending crap. And today I'm a PhD and work out of the MIT and all this, and I got a brand new wife and life is good and all that. And if you're new, if I, like me with my shopping cart, I'd hear that crap and go, yeah, I don't want what you have. I just don't want to be drinking and using and feeling like I'm feeling. I certainly don't want to feel like you're feeling, though, because that's way too much for little old me. But as the years go by, you end up holding a job for 2, 3, 4 years at a time in my sobriety. Like, what? How could I do 7-Eleven on the graveyard for 4 years? How could I work at a Salvation Army men's transitional living facility as a monitor/counselor for 3 or 4 years? And I keep coming back and they keep paying me. And I started to be able to do things I couldn't do before. And the neat part was I had already bought into the fact, all right, I got the sign to stop, so I'm going to stop in about 20 minutes. No, what I found in these rooms was this, that if I just did some of the simple things and tried to do them as best I could, even when I didn't see it was working and I didn't know it. Recovery can be cunning, baffling, and powerful. It still baffles me how things work out just as well as they're going to work out if I do what my sponsor suggests, I do what this program suggests that we do. And part of that is spreading it to others, letting other people know for free, for fun and for free, how this happened to me and how it can happen for you. If you got 20 years in here tonight and it's not happening for you in your 21st year, readdress the simple suggestions this program has laid out for you. If you've got 2 days and you still can't figure this out, it's not a speed course. Just keep coming back. You'll figure it out. A God of your non-understanding will come into your life through this program, a higher power. You will find it. You will be with us. You will row with us, and we will ask you to do things like the Godfather did, you know? You owe. And someday a favor will be asked of you, and it will be to pass this on to somebody else. And boy, when the whistle blows on that, you best be showing up like that little coroner did in that movie, you know? That little mortician, he showed up for the Godfather. Yes, Godfather. And when I'm told to show up for something, I show up. And you will too someday, and that'll be the dessert for you, that you could show up for somebody else instead of yourself one more time. And you'll be happy, and you'll be sober, and you'll be part of Alcoholics Anonymous. Thanks for letting me share.